Dear students, let us discuss design of windings. And you know, the transform has two windings. One is high voltage winding and another is low voltage winding. And depending upon type of winding, high voltage and low voltage windings are interchanged as primary as well as secondary windings. And the design of winding involves the determination of number of turns and area of cross section of conductor used for winding. Okay. Design of winding means calculation of number of turns of both primary as well as secondary windings as well as area of cross section of conductors. And the number of turns is estimated using what voltage rating as well as EMF per turns mentioned. Okay. And then area of cross section is estimated using rated current as well as current density. Okay. Here design of winding involves one is calculation of number of turns of primary and secondary winding, then calculation of cross-sectional area of primary as well as secondary conductors, right? Here, then how to calculate number of turns of primary winding? Usually, the number of turns of low voltage winding is estimated first using the given data and is corrected to nearest integer. Then, number of turns of high voltage winding are chosen just to satisfy the voltage rating of transformer. Okay, then what is the procedure followed to find out number of turns of primary and secondary winding? Okay, the number of turns in primary winding TP is given as voltage of primary winding divided by voltage per turn. Number of turns of primary winding are determined based on voltage rating of primary winding as well as permissible voltage per turn. Okay, TP equal to PP by AT. The number of turns in secondary winding are calculated similarly as number of turns of primary winding, that is TS equal to VS stands for voltage of primary secondary winding divided by voltage per turn. Here to have values of TP and TS, voltage rating of both the windings primary as well as secondary winding must be known. Same time, what is permissible voltage per turn for both primary and secondary winding must be known. Then only values of TP and TS can be calculated. Then the number of turns of a low voltage winding is usually determined by adjusting the voltage per turn to get the number of low voltage turns per phase as an integer. Then TLV is number of turns of LV winding, which is equal to VLV by ET. This must be an integer. Okay. The number of HV winding turns per phase is therefore calculated. Here, once TLV is calculated by using transformation ratio of transformer, you know V2 by V1 equal to N2 by N1. Based on that, if you consider this as N2, N2 by N1 equal to V2 by V1. Therefore, THV equal to VHV by VLV into TLV. Okay. Then current in primary winding is calculated as IP equal to kVA per phase into 10 to the power of 3 divided by Vp. See, this is kVA. kVA is product of primary voltage and primary current. Volt ampere rating of transformer is product of Vp into Ip. Therefore, current in primary winding Ip is kVA divided by Vp. Then similarly, Is is calculated, and as per transformation of transformer, V2 by V1 equal to I1 by I2. Voltage and currents have inverse ratios. Hence, Is equal to Ip into Pp by Vs. Okay. Then area of conductor in primary and secondary winding is determined after choosing suitable current density to be used in the windings. Here, after calculating current, next step to design winding is obtaining cross-sectional areas of both windings, primary as well as secondary winding. And to get area of cross-section of primary and secondary winding after calculating primary and secondary current, appropriate value of current density or suitable value of current density must be chosen. Okay. And while choosing a suitable value of current density, designer has to see that permissible current density should be chosen such that there should not be local heating as well as reduction in the efficiency. And usually due to higher value of current density, If proper cooling and ventilation techniques are not designed properly, then definitely there will be temperature rise in the windings. And if this temperature rise becomes excessive, if it exceeds permissible value, then because of higher values of current density chosen, there is chance of failure of insulation, because while designing transformer, different class of insulating materials are used, and each and every class of insulating material has different temperature withstand capacity as per IS standard. Okay, hence by seeing temperature rise of that particular section of winding, designer will choose appropriate class of insulation, as well as he will choose appropriate thickness of insulation material that should not get damaged even because of thermal breakdown as well as mechanical breakdown when that insulating material is subjected to over temperature rise. Okay, then choice of current density is important because I square R loss and efficiency, it depends upon current density, and therefore current density in winding should be chosen to guarantee the losses as well as cooling conditions required. Depending upon if cross-sectional area of conductor is very small, and if higher values of current is allowed to flow through that conductor depending upon output rating of transformer, then I square R losses will be more, because if cross-section area of conductor is small, resistance will increase, and increase in resistance will result into increase I square R loss. Hence, efficiency will be less. Same time, uh, 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 it requires better cooling techniques to keep the temperature rise within permissible limit. Then what are usual values of current density? Uh, Current density is different for different types of transformers. Say for distribution, small and medium power transformers of self oil cooled type up to 50 kV rating, the value of current density lies between 1.2 to 2.3 ampere per meter square. This is for self oil cooled type. And for large power transformers, self oil cooled or air blast, 2.2 to 3.2 ampere per mm square. Here, depending upon type rating of transformer, designer will choose appropriate value of current density by seeing cross-sectional area of conductor and its maximum current handling capacity. For large power transformers with full circulation of oil with water coolings, when for MUA rating transformer, sometimes hollow conductors are used for both primary and secondary winding, and through that conductor, water, demineralized water is allowed to flow through conductor as a coolant to keep the temperature rise within permissible limit. In that case, designer may go for higher value of current density, say up to 5.4 to 6.2 ampere meter square, but higher values are permitted for large power transformer only for circulation of either oil or water as cooling media. Okay, then how to find out area of each primary conductor? The area of each primary conductor is, current density is current divided by area. Hence, area of primary conductor is current through primary conductor divided by current density of primary conductor. Then area of each secondary conductor, AS, is IS divided by del. Okay, depending upon kV rating of transformer, IP and IS will be calculated, and assuming suitable values of current density for both the windings, depending upon type of cooling techniques used, then area of primary conductor as well as area of secondary conductors are decided. But here, as per this statement, the current density in two windings should be taken equal in order to have minimum copper loss. Say, as per this statement, if current density for both the windings are taken same, then copper loss which occurs in the transformer will be minimum. Okay. Now let us see small derivations which will show how del P and del S gives minimum copper losses. Okay. Here let UP and US be volume of conductors in primary and secondary winding respectively, and UT is total volume of conductors, and total volume of conductor is sum of volume of conductors of primary winding and secondary winding. Then total volume of conductor is assumed constant. See here, taking total volume of conductor as constant, I square R loss in primary is I square R loss rho into del square up. Then I square loss in secondary, it depends upon secondary current density and volume of conductor material of secondary winding and depend upon resistivity of secondary winding. Okay, then here US can be written as UT minus UP. Okay, here in place of UT minus UP is substituted. Then total I square loss PC is rho times this value. Okay, after substituting, because UT is UP plus US. This is UP. This is I square loss in primary winding, and this much is I square loss in secondary winding. Then adding these two, we get total I square loss. Okay. Then to have minimum losses, once this equation is differentiated with respect to volume of either primary winding or secondary winding, and after equating to 0 we get del P equal to del S. So this shows there is minimum I square loss for particular value of current density. Okay, and if both the current density of both the windings chosen are equal, then that will give minimum I square R loss here, because this gives I square R loss. I square loss in primary, I square R loss in secondary, and taking total I square R loss. Finally, after differentiating this and equating to 0, we get del P equal to del S, and this indicates when designer choose same current densities for both primary and secondary winding, then I square R losses will be minimum. Okay, but in practice, current density in better cooled winding, and usually if you see the position of winding with respect to core, okay, usually LV winding will put close to core and HV winding will be outside, and what the winding which is put at the outer side, that will be better cooled. Okay, hence 5% greater current density can be chosen for outer winding, which is better cooled compared to inner winding. Okay, then how to select type of winding, right? Here it is necessary to select proper types of winding to be used in transformer. Design of winding chosen must be such that it should give desired electrical characteristics as well as adequate mechanical strength. Okay, sometimes more than one type of winding may be suitable for transformer. There are so many types of winding, but more than one type of winding is to be decided. Then in that case, winding which has simple constructional feature should be used. Designer should go for such type of winding which should be very easy for uh, design purpose. Okay, then in case of high voltage windings, usually there are three types. One is cylindrical winding with circular conductors, then crossover winding with either circular or small rectangular conductors, then continuous disk type winding with rectangular conductor. Three types of windings are available. Designer can choose any type depending upon construction features or electrical characteristics is to be obtained. Cylindrical and crossover windings are used for transformers of rating up to 1000 kVA. For a 1 MVA rated transformer of 33 kVA, either cylindrical or crossover windings can be used. Then this type winding is used for transformers of higher rating, ranging from 200 kV to tens of MVA. In case of 200 kV 200 kV substation, usually 100 MVA rated transformers are used. In that case, this type windings can be preferred. Okay, even voltage from 11 kV and 11 kV onwards. Then low voltage windings are usually of two types. One is cylindrical winding, another is helical winding, and usually it is double helical type. Both these windings employ rectangular conductors. Here for cylindrical as well as for helical winding, circular conductors are not preferred. Rectangular conductors are used for both the winding, even for low voltage case. Cylindrical windings are used for kVA ratings up to 800 kVA and voltage rating up to 433 low voltage. The helical winding can be used for ratings up to tens of MVA and voltage up to 15 kVA and sometimes up to 33 kVA. Here for low voltage, cylindrical windings are used, and for high voltage, right? Though rating of transformer is more but high, sandwich windings are used for